requests for short sales right now, and it takes a long time to
It
get it through.
does.
So you just got to make sure everybody's patient with the deal if you want it to go that way.
Bill said it was a few weeks that it took one to get approved just recently, but we were all thinking that was so unusual because
we've seen a few months
Yeah.
go by on these,
Absolutely.
and everyone
Exactly.
the tensions, the tension's there, and you have to look at it from the bank's point of view or an individual's point of view. That underwriter or the person negotiating at the bank's level, they may have 1,000 files behind them, and they will get to yours.
So you don't necessarily are going to get a great deal as a buyer on a short sale property. I mean, you could end up still paying more than what was actually owed to the bank.
No.
No.
No, the whole definition of the short sale is that you wouldn't end up paying more than what is owed to the bank. The difference is that banks want what's fair market value for the property, as Chris
Gotcha.
said,
Okay, I think that's
which is not
Yeah.
below fair market value. A foreclosure sometimes goes for below market value because they're just trying to dump it off their books. But a short sale, the seller's really trying to get as high a price as possible so they have as small a deficit as possible.
it's a very unique. I'm glad we got that clear, because there's
it is.
a clear difference between what a foreclosure is and what a short sale is.
Yes.
And obviously, a foreclosure and a short sale affects one's credit differently
Yes.
as well.
Yes.
So I think that's there's a lot of misinformation or not enough information out there to the public about those type of vehicles.
So on the short sale, what are the tax consequences, Hillary?
Tax consequences. Well, first and foremost, I'm not an accountant and I'm not an expert in taxes, but I can tell you that Congress has recently passed a law that helps protect homeowners who have lost their primary residence and sold it as part of a short sale. Because in the past they would have to pay income taxes on the loss as if they received that loss as income. So you have a $100,000 loss, and all of a sudden they have to pay $30,000 in taxes
Ouch.
for income they never received. So Congress did pass a law to change that, to protect them. But there are some nuances to it. As always with Congress, there's always something that they do. It has to be your primary residence. The mortgage that the loss was on has to be for the purchase of the house or to refinance the purchase mortgage. Or if it's an equity loan, the loan had to have been used towards improving the property. So it's really important to talk to your accountant about it and make sure you save any receipts or evidence that you might have that would show you how you spent the money.
Excellent. Bill, we got a few more minutes here on the show, and so we're going to ask a couple of quick questions here. But adjustable rate mortgages. What's going on with adjustable rates, and should we be getting into fixed rates now?
It depends on the consumer's outlook. Where are they going? Typically, someone in this area that bought a home and got into an adjustable rate mortgage may have had some different alternatives there. They were going to sell the house in 3, 5, or 7 years. It was their plan right from the get-go for numerous reasons. If they got a traditional mortgage from someone like myself or Middlesex Savings Bank, with perfect examples of these rates, if they're going to adjust today, would actually adjust below 4%. These are Fannie Mae-based type adjustable rate mortgages. So what the news media is really pushing are those subprime people. They will adjust into the 8s, 9s, and 10s, and that's something they should definitely get out of that as soon as possible, if possible. But someone who has a 5-year arm that's adjusting, say in the next couple months, I would literally dig out your paperwork from your closing and look at the details of the terms. And most banks have it right on their website, what their rate will be, what their index and margin will be. And again, it'll adjust to below 4 right now for the next year, so it could be very favorable for them.
Okay. So we were all talking about like the Massachusetts job employment rate isn't as hard hit as the national. What about the local real estate area positioning for us?
Locally as compared to nationally?
Yes. I'm sorry.
Okay. Locally, we are actually a lot better off than some other areas, and not as well off as others. In California, Nevada, Florida, Arizona, you've seen huge price decreases. And it's probably a lot to do, going back to that demand and supply. They had an oversupply on the market because they have lots of land available, so that they can go ahead and build those 400 home subdivisions, one right after the other. So when the demand went down, they got caught. Whereas we have limited land, so the supply doesn't get out of control as much. And we tend to have fairly steady demand because of our proximity to a city. We have public transportation, and our schools are really well rated. So we are more insulated than some other areas from downturns in the market. So nationally, we're doing
From
it.
other parts of Massachusetts?
Yes. Yes, the further you get away from the city, the further you get away from public transportation, well-rated schools, areas where there's a lot of land and they have built it up a lot. They have in the past had those building permits and been able to really overproduce the supply. I mean, we're very fortunate in this area to have had as little appreciation as we have had compared to other areas.
Excellent. Go back to the short sale for a second. While you were talking, I just had this other thought about what happens, Hillary, to the borrower in the short sale situation, or or if they're in the foreclosure situation. I mean, where do they go? How do they get another home?
Well, a lot of people are renting right now, and moving in with family, as the case may be. Some people are moving out of state because there is a little bit more opportunity elsewhere for them. But for the most part, they're moving into rental homes. I have seen only one situation right now where they're actually trying to buy a different type of house in a smaller house in a different community. And so far that's not been successful. So.
Yeah. Well, obviously, with the things that are going on right now in the real estate world, it's I think it was kind of important that we get this show as our first one out there to get started with it. And I think it's kind of very informative of what you folks are able to hopefully inform our audience about on this. But that's pretty much all we have time for the questions today. It goes by pretty fast. So if you'd like any information regarding today's topics, or any of the information that was provided by our guests, I'm going to give you some information on how to get a hold of them. And I'd like to thank my guests, starting with Bill Nickerson. He's the Vice President of Mortgage Network, and he can be reached at 978-264-4803. His email is bill@billnickerson.com. Hillary, thanks. It's always great to see you again.
Thank you.
Attorney Hillary Dorner of Dorner Law and Title Services, and she can be reached at 978-266-9666. Her email, I love this one, myattorney@dornerlaw.com. And we have Chris Hill with Keller Williams Real Estate, located in Concord, and her number is 978-369-5775.
5775.
5775. Or Chris Hill at KW, Keller Williams, right? KW.com. Works. My wonderful co-host today, Carrie Runeck, of It's Your Call, and the author of The Cold Calling for the Clueless. Great read, by the way. And she can be reached via her website at itsyourcall.com. I'm your host, TJ Dyer, your local financial planner with Integrated Financial Partners, hoping that you all will stay connected. Thank you.